I've been asked many times, how did F.A. Wilhelm Construction get started? And I think it's a pretty simple answer. Our grandfather, Francis Wilhelm, had an idea as a young man on the east side of Indianapolis. He was a bricklayer by trade and just was building people's front porches and doing a lot of residential work. Some of the houses are still there. Thinking back on our grandfather, he was a guy he was a big man anyway, but as a little kid he was bigger than life.
Every time I was around him, he was very serious. When he was in the room, you definitely knew he was there.
Right. As again the company grew and the area grew, he got more into building churches. Was a big thing for the Catholic churches around Indianapolis, and then also just a bunch of small projects that continued to build the momentum for the company. Through the 50s, 60s, and 1970s, especially in the 1970s, it was a deep recession, and really construction was pretty scarce at that time. And I remember actually being in the bid room when we bid the concrete work for the Hoosier Dome, which was the predecessor to the Lucas Oil Stadium now. And Wilhelm bid the concrete work. We had never done a concrete job that big. And that was something that I think really took off, helped Wilhelm survive the recession of the late 70s, but also got us into the structural concrete business. Weren't you the greatest carpenter on that project, if I remember the story correctly?
I was pretty close.
Pretty close there, I think so. The abilities and things we are able to do now with concrete, it all started on that project.
Grandpa, he was probably most proud of the fact that we're still at Southeastern Avenue and Prospect Street doing the same type of work that he loved to do, hands-on, get down in the mud, pour the concrete, lay the bricks, set the steel. He was always a big fan of getting in there and doing the work and being a builder. And I think Wilhelm has carried on that tradition today. And just the fact that we still stand behind every piece of work we do. If there's a problem with it, Wilhelm will go make it right.
Going to work for Wilhelm was the best decision I ever made.
You felt like you were appreciated. There was teamwork top to bottom again, you know, from the president down through all the field personnel.
I knew numerous people that I worked with for over 30 years, and that's hard to say in this industry. And Wilhelm has a loyalty to the company that very few other companies have.
It opened opportunities, abundant opportunities. I learned a lot about construction. I thought I was pretty smart in what I did, but I learned a whole lot more about concepts of coming up out of the ground, finishing the job.
I used to tell owners routinely, I may not know the answer to the question that you are asking me, but I have the resources of many, many intelligent and hardworking folks back at our office that do know the answers.
For the people out in the field, the superintendents and project managers, the most important thing I always say is to know your job. Nothing's more important than getting out in the field, seeing the place at least a couple times a day so you can see what's going on, you can see who's holding up who, and you can see what you need to focus on the next day.
We get up early, we work late, a lot of times we're working Saturdays, a lot of times we're working out of town. So the impact that Wilhelm has on you is that it is a commitment to the lifestyle and to the work practice that's required in order for Wilhelm to be a leader in the construction that we are.
So yeah, interning back in the early 2000s, it is a little bit different. At that point, I was more out in the field. I remember one time I was 80 foot up in a boom lift with a steel inspector, and I thought I was gonna die. So that was a little scary.
When I started, we didn't have the regimented, planned out program that we have now. You're on the job, and you had to add value to that team and do the work, and it could be anything, right? It could be run down to the hardware store and pick up a box of nails, or go get some prints, or clean out the trailer. You know, there was all sorts of tasks. You just did whatever was needed to be done.
And I think when I interned, I don't know if there was another intern. There may have been one or two that I'm not even aware of. Now I think we have 25 to 30 some intern, having a good program. So it's definitely changed a lot over the last 20 years. Starts with the people and the projects, mainly the people. Just I was around some of the best people, Doug May, Brad Speck, Steve Ross, Brian Tomsick. All those people were top notch.
I just saw the things that Wilhelm was doing, and it was very impressive. And I always wanted to work somewhere that I felt I worked with people that I could learn from, that would make me better, make me smarter, and it just really felt like a home.
A quick snapshot of Wilhelm today. We're about 2,500 plus employees, including all our skilled tradespeople. Our revenue for 2022 will be around $1.25 billion plus or minus. And the diversity of the types of projects and the markets that we're working in, I think it really speaks to the depth and strength of Wilhelm. From large, complex healthcare and pharmaceutical projects to industrial manufacturing and civil projects, there really aren't many markets that we're not touching these days. And I think the magnitude of some of the projects that we have going on right now, from the IU Health project going on in downtown Indianapolis, the new hospital, and the Westville Correctional Facility, those projects are of a size, scope, and magnitude that we've not been involved with before, and I think are really taking us to a new level in the industry.
Culture is huge at Wilhelm. I mean, I've heard it a number of times, but the Wilhelm way, I mean, it's that can-do attitude, the ability to just jump in and get something done without excuses.
I think number one is it's always been the culture is get to work and then we'll figure out how to get it done. Hiring the right people, good qualified people, training those people, giving them the tools they need to be successful.
We work for some of the most innovative clients in their industry, and we get to be a part of that innovation and help them do something better, whether it's higher education, an industrial manufacturer, or a client who's a corporate headquarters. When I started in the industry in the late 90s, it was not a very diverse workforce, either in the field or in the office. Over the last 20 years, as Indianapolis has become more diverse, so has our workforce. We have a lot of women that work at Wilhelm in the office and in the field. We have a lot more ethnicities that are represented at the table. There's definitely been an emphasis on finding more diversity to come work for Wilhelm.
I think for me, being in the only girl in some of the classes as I took construction management, and then being out in the field and seeing women in the trades has really impacted me, and know that we're changing, not only in gender but in different backgrounds, and it's exciting to see the different innovation and ideas that are coming through because of that. Wilhelm wants to reflect the communities in which we work and live in. I believe that diverse thoughts and backgrounds will create a more potential for work for us as our clients see that we're expanding not only through our work but also in our workforce. As we continue to move forward in the different projects and the different clients that we interact with, it will be very apparent that we'll continue for our success.
Safety has changed considerably since we've started. We've improved and developed through the years and really think we've improved our safety.
The improvements that we've made over the years is getting everybody trained on fall protection and getting them the proper fall protection that they need. Housekeeping in the past, when I started, was challenging, to say the least. We've made improvements on that, staying up with it. Chris Wilhelm has a saying now that he wants his job sites Bob Evans clean at the end of the day, so that when you walk in the morning, you're ready to go to work. The Step Up for Safety program originated in our safety committee. We sat for a few months trying to come up with a safety slogan for the company. We picked it because it's what a lot of our people do every day and what we want our people to do every day. When it talks about speak up, yeah, we want our people to speak up. When it says plan, we want our people to plan. So anybody that's seen that slogan on the back of our t-shirts and bolt bags, each letter has a specific meaning and it's spelled out, and that's what we want our employees to do on our sites every day.
Over the years, I mean, acquiring 4 affiliate companies have been huge. The diversification that we look at and diversifying the work we do and to keep employees working all the time is just unbelievable. To the self-perform, where we've picked up the civil, the water, wastewater group is just enormous. Industrial, to today, we're now into, you know, the flooring business. So maintaining that diversification, I think, is huge.
One of the biggest changes I've seen is technology and how we communicate. Wilhelm's done a very good job with our IT department. We have all the up-to-date technology on Zoom meetings and everything.
The most important thing with technology is don't be afraid to change. Always adapt to the latest technology and be willing to accept the change, the inefficiencies at first during that learning curve, because the end result is always going to be much more efficiencies and faster work. Be willing to take on that next technology.
Whether it's people, technology, equipment, other resources, etc. Wilhelm embraces complexity and new challenges. And as part of that, when a decision is made to pursue a new endeavor, whether it's a type of project, a trade to self-perform, a new market or region to work in, there is a total commitment by the organization to invest in whatever it takes to make that endeavor successful.
It's the ability and, as Doug said, commitment to deliver these quality projects and deliver at the highest quality, highest level of safety, and then, you know, in the end, delivering that project successfully to the owner. As you mentioned, it's that commitment as a company, top down, and everybody on our team is committed to the success, and that's what leads to the next project.
Really understanding what Wilhelm was and how big it was not until I started here in high school. We were at our family dinner table and I used to sit next to my dad and he just turned to me and said, "Hey, you're working in the yard this summer." And then once you get in here and see how big it was, and since then, that's really my first perception of Wilhelm.
When I started, it was the same thing. It wasn't, you need to find a job, it was, you have a job. And so we started back in high school coming to work here, and everything's just grown exponentially in the last 15 years that I've been around. And in terms of how I plan to affect the future growth, it's one day at a time. It's coming in and working hard, doing what we're asked to do, and just maintaining client relations and really trying to help continue that growth and pushing the trades work and doing things like that we can help.
Being that 4th generation, obviously I didn't get to meet my great-grandpa, F.A. Wilhelm, but knowing my Uncle Tippy for years and seeing how just the progression of the company, you know, started doing porches to, you know, when my Uncle Tippy was here, started, you know, parking garages, and see how that's built up, and now my dad and Chris bringing it to where we are now. I guarantee my great-grandpa never had a dream of where we'd be right now.
When I look into the future and think about the future of the company and think about all the young leaders and people like Clayton that are coming up in the company, it's really exciting. I see a really bright future.
As far as our future success and future growth, expanding our capabilities as far as our self-perform side, as well as improving and growing our CM side, as well as just growing the company as a whole, including the departments we already have. It's something that I feel is very special to be a part of, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it.
Got a lot of special people here that work their hearts out to keep this place going. I fully believe that 100 years from now, it'll still be Wilhelm Construction.
It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to Chris and all the family members to see us get to our 100th anniversary.